Today, guys, I want to thank you for jumping into this call, and I hope you walk away with leave an impact on you. You walk away with something invaluable that you can apply into your everyday leadership, your everyday self leadership, your everyday perspective, and where you're going, and just start leveling yourself up a bit. So today we're going to be talking about how motivation really isn't the problem. What the problem is that we're having is we're all motivated, but what the real problem is alignment to why and where we're trying to do and where we're going. We're motivated here, but sometimes we have some misalignment. So today is it's not a motivational talk. This is a clarity conversation. This isn't about, oh, you're going to walk away with more motivation. No, you're going to walk away with a different perspective, and you can start applying it to what you're doing and seeing how you can make tiny adjustments that now can take yourself to where you're going, and you get yourself to more aligned to what you truly want. So you're not broken. You're on this call because you're paying attention. So if you feel misaligned or mismotivated, you're not motivated or something, you're not broken. You're just misaligned. And sometimes we have to get ourselves into alignment again. Have you ever had your tires on your car realigned? They were aligned at one particular point, but something overuse and shaking and things happened and they got misaligned. That's what happens with our values and our goals and where we're trying to go is we think we know, we said it, but then we got ourselves a little bit off course. And before you know it, we're far off course and we didn't really realize how we got there. And I don't believe we ever made a conscious choice to get out of alignment. I don't believe we ever said, you know what, I'm just going to ease up here and then get a little bit, but I'll get myself back. No, we just slowly started moving. And before we knew it, we're like, oh my gosh, we're not aligned because we lost sight. You ride a bike, if you take your eyes off of where you're going, you start moving it that way. And you never intended to turn this the handlebars or anything, but you just do it. You drive a car. If you take your focus off of where you were going, you move over, you start drifting into the other lane. That's what's happening here. So the big misbelief out there is what I call the leadership lie. Is if I just push harder, this will pass. If I just push harder, this will pass. And unfortunately, by pushing harder and not really getting ourselves and asking ourselves the questions, we pass by it. It doesn't pass. We pass by it. So that's why it fails because motivation is the fuel and alignment is the direction. You guys are all motivated. You all have the fuel. You all have the hunger, but you're misaligned. And that's the direction we're trying to go. So without direction, more fuel just burns out faster. It's kind of like, you know what, I can put more gas in my tank, but if I don't fix why the engine doesn't run efficiently, I'm just going to keep burning through gas. So that's what we're looking at is that's how misalignment, that's the big misbelief. And now we're going to talk about how misalignment actually shows up. It actually shows up when the success you have or the maintaining of what you got, it's starting to feel heavier and heavier and heavier, not freer. Not, oh, I should, I've been doing this for a while. I should be feeling more in shape. I should be feeling better at what I'm doing, but it feels heavier. That's how it's showing up. It also showing up is that you're doing the things that you used to do that excited you, but they don't excite you anymore. They're kind of like, I don't really like this. They also show up when you feel responsible for everything. You feel like I've got to be there and do all these things. And then hopefully by doing that, I'll get where I was. And it's like doing more is not the recipe to go where you want to go. It's actually doing less will get you there. So you also shows up when you can't articulate what's wrong. You ever had the times where you're like, I just don't feel right. I can't explain it. I just doesn't feel right. Like your business or wherever you're going, like it just doesn't feel right and you can't explain it. You just know that something is off, but you don't know what it is. And lots of times we look outward outward at what is off instead of inward at what is off. We blame it on rates, we blame it on economy, we blame it on weather, we blame it on, blame it on, blame it on, blame it on. So really, it's something inside. And when we turn around and look in the mirror, we get there. So misalignment rarely announces itself loudly. It whispers through exhaustion, through what, and that exhaustion shows up as lack of motivation. It shows up in slowly declining in what we're achieving. It shows up in not being as happy as we once were. So that's how it's showing up. So misalignment rarely announces itself loudly. It never just goes, hey, it never smacks you, go, hey, dummy, you're misaligned. No, it shows up very, very softly in many different things. And then when you connect all the dots, you go, oh, I'm misaligned. But at that point, you're just too far gone. So, what I'm hoping that you heard some things, and now it's we're going to kind of talk about an identity shift. Alignment isn't about doing less, it's about doing what you're supposed to be doing that will align with who you want to become. So sometimes it shows up as being less because you want to do less of these things because they're not in alignment with where you want to go. They're just things. You're going to do these, but we're only going to do the things that align with where you want to go. That's kind of an identity shift. Leadership, real growth, real change in yourself starts when you learn to lead yourself, self leadership. At least it did for me. And if it, the more people I talk to, I find that they're having trouble leading themselves. They're expecting things out of others that they're not actually holding themselves accountable to. I know I did, and I can't be all that different. So self leadership is huge. When identity shifts, but behavior doesn't, that's where tension starts to build. When you have this identity, I want this, but your behavior isn't, that's where tension comes in. And that's where that misalignment comes in. We want things, but we're not doing the things that necessarily get there. We're doing other things. And I don't know, a former coach of mine used to say this to me all the time, and he would, as we're going through my schedule and going through my activities and what I did, is he really was forcing me to look at the things I was doing. Where am I doing business things or am I doing busyness things? So think about and ask yourself that as you're looking at your schedule. Am I doing a lot of busyness things or am I doing business things? And I believe business isn't just because, hey, I'm a real estate salesperson, I'm doing business for that. No, everything you do, there is a business to what you do. If you're a mom, are you doing the things that are necessary to drive your family forward and serve and raise your kids? Or are you doing a lot of other things? If you're a dad, and you're showing up at home, are you a dad when you come home? Are you doing business things with your family that brings that group together and actually shows up as a leader and creating legacy and being present and making memories with the kids? Or are you doing busyness things where I'm busy working on all these other things, my real 9 to 5 job, and not actually spending time with my family? So you can look at it from a couple different perspectives. I like to, at least. So it also shows up, um, like I said, when tension builds, when you start feeling like, oh, I'm carrying so much, you're waking up. What I find with lots of people, and I found it with myself, was when you wake up after a really good night's sleep, like you slept 8 hours, but you wake up and you still feel tired. That's where it's starting to show up because your brain, your subconscious is working and thinking all night long and worrying while you're sleeping, but you're not really relaxed. You're not in REM sleep. So if you're waking up after a good night's sleep, hour wise, but you're waking up tired, that could be a way that you're showing up misaligned. So here's some reflection questions. So get out a pencil and paper. If you're If you're watching this not live, pause this. If you want some things, I'll say them kind of slowly so you can go through. But I've got three questions that I want you to ask yourself and reflect with. The first question is, why are you pushing out of habit instead of out of clarity? Why are you doing the things because you just do them and you can't explain it? Question one. So, why are you pushing out of habit instead of clarity? Question two that I want you to reflect on. What feels heavier than it should right now? What in your life, in your business, and in your growth, in your personal life, what feels heavier right now than it should? And the third question I want you to reflect on is, what are you tolerating that you know isn't in alignment or aligned with where you want to go anymore? What are you tolerating? What are you putting up with? What are you just dealing with? It is what it is, kind of thing. So, what are you tolerating? So, spend some time, work on those questions, get some answers, get some things jotted down. It'll help you move around, move along with where it is you want to go. So, that leads me right into an assessment that I put together that I'm working on and I've worked on and keep crafting and getting better. It's around an awareness assessment. And I'm giving you a free invitation to this. This isn't a test. This isn't like a pass fail, like I'm going to get graded on something. This is not a diagnosis, like something's wrong with me. What this is about putting a meter up and us really looking at ourselves and making sure that we're in alignment with what we say and think and really want. It's about taking that mask off. At least it was for me. It was taking that mask of what everyone else was seeing and really getting clear with what was underneath that mask and letting it out. So, the purpose of this is to help leaders figure out where they're aligned and where they're misaligned and where is taking energy. Where is their energy leaking? What's causing them the burnout, the frustration, all that. So if you're interested in getting a mirror test on yourself to where you can start putting some things into action and move yourself forward and get unstuck, comment assessment below. Put in the comments, put that you want an assessment, and we will send it to you and do it. There's no charge, no fee, no nothing under this. We're just going to get some information back to you that you can start applying and looking at yourself and moving yourself one step at a time forward. So I hope that gives you something in there. So what I want you to understand is you don't need to have it all figured out. Please get that pressure off yourself. Like, I don't have all the, that's okay. You don't have to have all the answers. You never will. You'll have enough answers to move forward. But as you're in the journey and every step forward, you start seeing more than you saw from where you started. So you have more questions, more things you need to figure out as you move. You never have it all figured out. I just want you to get clearer with every step, more aligned to where it is you want to go, and making sure that your activities match what it is you want. That's the clarity that I'm looking after. So you don't need to perform. Clarity, something I want to leave you with is clarity, it comes before growth. Alignment comes before motivation. Clarity comes before growth, and alignment comes before motivation. Lots of times we think we'll get clearer when we actually achieve these things. We think we'll be more aligned. We'll be the person we want to be when we have this. It's like, no, no, those come first. They become more in movement. You become more clear. You become more aligned. But you have to have clarity and alignment to actually get this thing rolling. So I hope this helped you out. I hope you got some stuff. Hope you got some notes that you took away. I hope it made an impact on you. Comment assessment below. Comment some of your answers, if you want to share them with the group, comment some of your answers in the comments below, because I know what you're answering is going to help some other people. And that's what this community is about. It's about growing, stretching, becoming different with every time we dip our toe into the river than we were prior to it. What can you do to help others? This is a full participation in community. So I appreciate you here. If you think others could get some benefit from this group, invite them, please. And then if there's anything you're thinking of that's on your mind that you think would be a good topic for me to address that will help you and help others, let me know. Message me. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.